Is live. Hello everyone and welcome to This Space for Rent. We're gonna play Bulldogs from Galileo Games, sort of adapted to be in the Space Casey setting, kind of.
Sort of.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes. If you are new stumbling across this video, you will probably have already seen in the title that it's Session 6, which means we have played before, but I wouldn't worry too much about, not being caught up. This is not the sort of heavy continuity sort of series that some games would be. So I hope you'll stick around, although probably if you are hearing me say this, you have already made the decision to do so. I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the game master for this little, I was going to say fiasco, but fiasco is an actual other game. I suppose it can still be a thing, right? Could be a fiasco.
Lowercase f fiasco instead of a uppercase f fiasco.
And if we ever want to run this in fiasco, it would translate perfectly.
It would.
Yeah.
It absolutely would. I have an idea though to save the notes from the board from the last time. Maybe our GM could make us a new page and flip us over to that.
I could absolutely do that.
And that way we can save the notes.
Woo!
Woo!
Look at that! I have new pageified. So, our players today, Liberdette. I was
Hello.
assuming you were going to say, yeah, there you go. Nobilis.
Hello!
And Mark Kilfoyle.
Salutations and greetings.
I'm trying to double check and make sure my stream is going live by checking on my because I am currently abroad. There we go. Okay. I'm currently abroad in South Korea. I am working on a lessened capacity from a technological perspective. Trying to make sure that everything is working requires some extra steps. But let's go ahead and get started. I introduced you all, right? I did?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, let's go ahead and begin. And as we have done in the past, sort of character intros will become apparent when we're ready for them. So,
I am still seeing you as offline on Twitch, though.
okay. Well, I try resetting it because I just tried to pull it up on my PlayStation 4, which is across the room, so I can kind of see it on the TV, and I'm seeing us live right now.
It's live.
Yeah.
Yep, it's live.
Okay, it must be just me then.
Okay. Well, it might just need to refresh or something, but in any event, as we have in the past, we begin with the soaring sci-fi music and a starfield and the little shuttle, the Tiger Shark, the sleek little fancy shuttle flying through space up to and alongside the enormity of the Juggernaut, soaring through space, flying around and docking inside just below a stenciled nameplate, the Juggernaut, this space for rent. And as the Juggernaut passes by the camera's view, we see it pass by an asteroid with a little sign stuck on it, Looney Tunes style, that says, "Now entering the black and white nebula." And as the ship passes in, all the color saturation fades out of everything, and you find yourselves all seeing everything in black and white for the duration of this particular journey.
This is different. How?
It was on that day that I wasn't quite sure exactly how to take my daily schedule. I looked at it with ease and thought, I need a drink.
Rick looks at the watercolor he's been working on, takes this paintbrush, throws it on the ground, says, "Go, darn it!"
So the captain is doing the captain's log and is like, Captain Nemo's log, the Juggernaut. There's 100 billion stars in the naked galaxy. Some of those stars have planets. Some of those planets have life, but every one of those living beings have got secrets. Everybody wants something they don't have. And a wise being once said that life finds a way. And sometimes those ways aren't nice. Sometimes those living things striving and fighting for the things they want leave messes. And that's where we come in. We clean up messes. And we try to get people the things they want. Even if sometimes that just makes more messes. We're in the service industry. And so now let's have each of you give a sort of a brief, you did it a little bit, but another one where you describe your character physically and what they're doing at this moment.
Okay, well, Rick is cleaning out his brushes full of gray paint into gray water, looking over his shoulder at a canvas covered with gray splotches, and just shaking his head. He's a human being, average height, kind of doughy, blonde hair, and has a baseball cap with an emblem of a tractor manufacturer on it. Tractor beam, that is.
Tractor beam.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Shem is asleep on top of a line of cube walls that are about chest high on a normal person. She is a black and gray and slightly darker gray in a very light gray flight suit. Her tail is kind of whipping around as she dreams, and she's purring in her sleep.
All right.
In the midst of his deep, secret laboratory, which is mostly deep and secret because no one else can actually fit through most of the ways to get there, there is an amorphous blob hanging in midair. The sheen off of his pearlescent skin looks particularly sheeny. He's trying to dictate some records. It's been a long journey so far, and due to some recent experiences, his voice modulation isn't quite what it should be. There's something wrong with him. And so it comes out more like this. You see, I'm not so sure that I belong here sometimes. I mean, it's my home and all. And it's the place that I've always been. But sometimes I gotta wonder. Sometimes I gotta wonder if out there somewhere is a place I can really call my own. And as he connects together two wires, you see his entire form shiver and shake from the electrical shock, because trying to connect electronics when you can't tell red from blue is dangerous.
So the captain's log continues. On this particular voyage, there are a lot of hungry people. People hungry for a sort of spicy stew with meat and legumes named Ch-ili. But just like anything living beings do, they've made it a competition. All the best chefs in the galaxy have come to the Juggernaut for the most prestigious Ch-ili cook-off in the universe. People would do anything to take home the coveted prize, and that includes making messes. So, yes, there's a chili cook-off happening on the ship right now. And while it is not something you guys are managing personally, certainly, you're around And I would like to give each of you the opportunity, if you feel like your character would do so, to enter the cook-off.
What's the prize?
It's basically a trophy where the people who care about these things really want it, but it's really like the bragging rights more than a specific item of value.
In that case, Shem will volunteer as a taste tester, but will not participate in actually cooking something. If you'd said credit boxes, you might have had a winner.
Well, now, with those bragging rights, you could potentially get into, like, endorsement territory, but it's not a, like, direct sell thing.
Yeah, no. That's a little too long term for Shem.
Anyone?
I think that this is something that Rick would just not be able to avoid.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when you were saying not be able to, I was like, really? Not be able to avoid makes sense.
Yeah, he's all in. He's all in.
All right.
He's not sure where he's going to be able to get chili peppers out here in the middle of space, but he'll do his best.
What about Butt Up?
Well, there's a whole list of experiments that was left behind for me. And I think cooking part of myself was part of them. So I could always try that. After all, if they really like my chili, and they really like me.
Yeah. So, for the two of you who are entering, I would like you to... I'm going to let you roll pretty much any skill that you can justify. But I want you to justify whichever skill you pick by explaining to me how that skill applies to the chili that you are preparing.
Well, clearly, the skill that makes the most sense for Rick is contacts, because he's going to be calling people to get all the best ingredients to bring to the Leviathan.
The Juggernaut?
The Juggernaut, right.
Yeah.
and calling in whatever favors he can, creating new ones, and...
So it's not so much a fancy recipe as much as sourcing the best ingredients.
Well, that's not to say that he can't also source the recipe.
Right, I'm just saying that you're going to do one roll, not multiple rolls, and so we'll say that like the reason your skill is the roll is because you're using your contacts to bring in the best ingredients.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead and make that roll. A 3? That's pretty good. It could have been better, I suppose, but...
Well, no, that's average. It's a 0 plus my 3 contact skills.
All right, great. So this is not trying to achieve a particular difficulty because it's not a competition except it's more like an opposed roll that you haven't had the other rolls happen yet.
Right.
So your chili is a 3. So the Butt Up, likewise, you can kind of pick any skill you want, but you just have to explain why that skill would apply.
Well, you see, originally I was planning to make some modifications to my bucket. And this inspired me. So I'm going to make some modifications to my bucket, but later. After all, I don't know exactly what the chili would do to it. It being my primary cooking pot. Instead, I'm going to choose science. Because, with a bit of crusty residue left of the Zeta radiation-infested me in the bottom of the bucket, and a bit of fresh meat that's going to be sacrificed for the bucket, I think that it could all go very well. So, I'm going to use science.
Science! So let's
see if I can find a button.
Let's see that science chili.
Science chili's green. No one can tell.
And so I think that this is a This is probably also a case where Budup's own subjective evaluation of what people want in chili is not necessarily going to be what others would look for.
It's got liquid. It's got chunks. It's got foamy bits. Kind of tingles on the tongue.
Right.
Might even melt your eyes off.
Everything's in black and white. You can't even see that it's a completely different color.
Right.
Okay, so the three of you are currently on your way to drop off your chili samples to the judging area. The competition isn't until tomorrow, but part of the requirement is that everybody has prepared their chili, and then it's going to be put in a stasis field, a secure stasis field. So the idea is that there's no funny business. So everyone puts their own chili in the stasis field, and then no one can touch it until the judging the next day.
This can't possibly go wrong.
All right. Now, you guys, because you're the ship's crew, have access to, like, that whole cargo area. Meaning, most people are just putting their chili through, would almost look like a garbage chute, except that it's designed to receive it and put it into the stasis area. But you guys, can go around the back, and that's what you would be doing, is you're going to drop your chili off in that area, but you have access that the ordinary participants do not. But you're on your way there, and the captain pops in and lets you know, it says, crew, I know that you are on your way to participate in this leisure activity, but there has been a passenger who has requested to speak with a ship representative, and she felt uncomfortable discussing it electronically. She wanted to discuss whatever the issue was with someone in person. So I wondered if she could meet with you immediately. She seemed in quite a hurry.
Okay, well, I can head there now while you guys go do the drop-off, and you can meet me there later.
So you are actually on your way to where she is at this very moment.
Okay.
And sure enough, as you guys make your way, she is actually sort of waiting at the employees-only door that you were going to go through to drop the cargo off. But what you see when you arrive there is an alien woman that I think I'm going to describe various characteristics of her first, and then we can decide what her alienness looks like. Okay. She is a slender, graceful, beautiful, but maybe a little bit fragile, like she's been having a rough go of it recently. So what sort of alien is she?
The camera starts at her feet and pans upwards, and we see a shapely pair of fairly human-looking legs and hips and a chest and shoulders, and then we get up to her head, and these one gigantic eyeball filling most of her skull with waving tendrils, waving dark gray tendrils hanging off of that, and a little tiny trumpet out of the top that where with lips on them that move when she talks.
What a babe!
Very nice. But she sees you arrive, and of course you're all in your ship uniforms, and so
I'm actually wearing my robot. It has better hands to carry the bucket.
Very nice. All right. So she sees you approach, and then just turns, looking hopeful to you. She has a gigantic handkerchief that she's dabbing her giant eye with, and she just says, hello. Are you the ship's representative that I was told I could speak with?
Probably.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
And she kind of looks around the corridor and just says, I don't suppose we could speak somewhere in private. I'm a little bit worried about being discovered just now.
Okay. Well, there's a side room right here. Why don't you guys go deliver the chili, and we'll step off to the side room, and you can take a couple of minutes, collect yourself, and they'll be back in 2 shakes of my tail, and we'll get this off the ground.
So when you say a side room, are you saying somewhere other than this employees only door?
Yeah, that there's an employees only door to the room where they're doing the storage, but there's also like a little staging area, prep room kind of thing off to the side.
I'm going to use a little bit of GM fiat that there's not an obvious place right around here. It's more that the place that you would go somewhere to be private right here is you're standing right by an employees only door. And the rest of this is sort of busy public corridor.
Okay. GM Fiat wins.
No reason. There's no reason that happened.
Yeah, GM loses a fate point.
Or I suppose if you decide you want there to be some other place, you have to spend a fate point.
Okay. No, I'll say I'll badger into the employees only area.
Okay. She just looks grateful, and she's just kind of glancing around hesitantly in there, but are you sure we can speak privately in here?
Yes.
Yes. I hesitate to come to you this way, but I'm looking for my sister. I'm Miss Ivina Buzmer, and I'm looking for my sister Plonka, but I thought I would be able to find her here, but I haven't had any luck so far, and I need help.
All right. Do you have a description? Anything that she was wearing? Identifiable features?
So just as a note, I'm assuming you guys are all there. You've just kind of come in, or
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure everyone's we're on the same page. So you guys have basically just ducked into, like how hotels in a convention center have all those little back corridors that they bring VIPs through and that sort of thing. Like that's kind of where you are right now. So she shows you a picture of her sister, who is clearly the same sort of species of alien as she is, but this sister looks even more sort of delicate and even more fragile. Not very tough looking young woman. This picture, and she just says, "This is my younger sister, and I don't want to judge anyone's romantic taste, but she has run away with a robot, and I believe that this robot is dangerous. And I tried to persuade her not to abandon her family, but she just could not be dissuaded, and yet when I was trying to reach her, it seemed like this robot is trying to get her to cut off all contact with her family. And the only clue that I had was that I knew that this robot was intending to enter this Ch'ili cook-off competition. And so I knew that they must be here, but the only message board that I was able to reach her on before, I was only able to contact this robot she's been seeing, and I think he may have done something to her, but I can't figure out what or where they are, and I'm just so sad.
Well, what's the robot's name? What's this?
He goes by Steve 3252832.
Okay, Steve.
3825 325 2832.
Okay. Well,
Catchy.
yeah. We can see if we can locate him, see if he's boarded the ship, see if she's boarded the ship. We can definitely look for her. Do you know any interest that she might have? I know he's here for the cook-off, but if she's with him, is there any area that she might like? Like that, we have an atrium, we have the aquarium, we've got lizard people. Is there?
She always loved lizard people. No. She just said, well, we grew up on a forest moon back home, and so I suppose she might enjoy the atrium, but my fear is that this robot is not letting her enjoy any of the things like that. It only wants her to focus on him, and that's all. And I believe that he's dangerous. I must warn you that I believe this robot is dangerous.
What does Steve look like?
Well, he's a robot. I don't want to be biased about it, but I'm really not very familiar with the different varieties of robot. He's kind of big and clunky.
Bipedal?
Yes.
Two legs?
Yes.
Okay, 2 arms.
Yes.
Okay, 1 head.
That narrows it down.
If you can call it a head. It's kind of, there's no neck. It's sort of just she's giving like vague sort of gestures. Not
like
well, sort of like that, pointing to butt-ups, sort of robot suits, but, like...
Which is clearly missing a head.
Bulkier and, clunkier. And she's looking like she's about to start crying here. She's just very emotional, obviously.
Okay, well,
my
then...
sister would be no match for a robot such as that if he were to try to do something to her. I'm so worried. She's starting to get hysterical here.
All right, I'm going to point to Rick and say, try to motion him forward. Comfort this.
I would have if you give me a minute to get a word in.
Okay, I will back off gratefully.
Now, Miss, I'm sure we'll be able to get your at least get to talk to your friend and see what the situation is. These kinds of things can be pretty complicated. So I'm not going to guarantee nothing, but it sounds to me like we can at least get a word in with her and see what's going on.
I would be so grateful. So, I guess I'm staying at a hotel, room in this complex, and she writes down on a little note, an address where she's staying. Please let me know if you hear anything. Let me know, and as I said, please be careful. I believe that robot is dangerous. Last time I went to speak with him, he gave me the impression that he would not hesitate to resort to violence if he felt cornered.
Well, we have a lot of corners, though. I mean, is he just going to get freaked out by the corners?
It don't mean that, but we'll be careful.
Thank you. I suppose I shouldn't keep you from your other business, but if you don't mind, if I could have a moment to compose myself.
I am not going to leave her unattended in the crew area.
Okay.
It's probably the chili, though. That's probably what's happening with her eye.
Yeah, and since Butt Up and I need to deliver artillery, I'm gonna tell Shem to please escort her from the crew area.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're doing that, Shim?
Yep. At arm's length because she's wet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the giant tears forming from this giant eye, like she needs this big handkerchief. It's like almost like a bath towel because it's just like, there's a lot of liquid.
Yeah, and Shem just kind of reaches out way far and goes, there.
All right. So I'm. So she's leaving with you, or rather, Rick and Butt Up are going to go deliver their chili. She is trying to compose herself, so I would imagine that you and she are not leaving immediately. Shem, you're just hanging out there while she repeatedly starts. This is going on for a while.
Okay.
So in the meantime, Rick and Butt Up, you're going to carry the chili off to where it gets delivered. And so the way that this works for everyone else is that, like I said, there's sort of just a chute with a little field that they sort of push their chili sample into. But what happens behind the scenes is that there's actually a little conveyor that brings it around to, you could imagine it like sort of a walk-in refrigerator sort of setting, except that because it's just a field, there's actually no, there's no, it's just a field. There's no walls to it. So what you have is basically a big warehouse with sort of this taped, like there's tape marks on the floor to just indicate that like inside here is the stasis field. And it's not an extreme thing. So like you can reach into it briefly and there's no effect on like your hands or anything. But the intended idea is that it's just just like a refrigerator would be used to keep something cool and preserved for a period of a few hours or whatever, right. And it's fine to reach your hands in. It's like that. The idea is just to keep the chili sort of in its ready state until the next day. And right. So you can just walk in and set your samples down. And you're there amongst all of the others. And there is a representative of the chili cook-off competition who is watching this area like from a surveillance camera. You know, there's a camera viewing it. They're not allowed inside this employees only area, but they are watching on a camera just to make sure there's no funny business.
Right.
So you're just going ahead and placing your chili samples on a I'm literally imagining a warehouse with tape on the floor and like card tables. It's a little fancier than that, but it's the sci-fi equivalent of that.
Jeez, Rick, I didn't even know that robots might like chili.
Never know.
It would be terrible if you won the competition too.
What?
Well, I mean, if you won that, and he's a nasty guy too, that would be bad.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, what's important is the chili, right? I mean, it's a good. You can't like feel like there's a bias because of who made it. That's not how these things go. That's why the chili gets put on the into the tasting thing, and you don't get to like fast talk the judges and try to talk them up on what you got there. You just kind of stand back and they taste it, and then if they ask you a question, then you got to they're gonna know. But
I really put myself into this chili. I want to win. I never won a chili competition. I've never been in a chili competition.
Well, given that we have no idea what species the judges are going to be, you got as good a chance as anybody else.
That's so nice of you to say, Rick.
So,
But what
Rick
about
puts
Miss Uzma?
Rick puts his chili down the spot and lets the stasis field take effect. Looks around, see if he's going to take a look around and see if there's anything like out of the ordinary going on.
All right. So that might be a survival roll, unless
Okay.
you're thinking it would be something else.
No, survival works for me.
All right.
-2. He has no idea.
Yeah. I think that. So here's perhaps Rick is sufficiently distracted by the thoughts of all the delicious chili that's on display, or just distracted by something else. But in the meantime, not necessarily super aware of what's going on
Right.
in immediate vicinity.
Yep.
So I'm gonna. In the meantime, Shem, I'm gonna have you make a roll for me, but it's a secret. So, so I'm gonna have you just roll 44, and I'll know what needs to be added to it, and then I'm gonna roll the 4 fate dice, and then I'm gonna do the same and add something else to it, and so that's going to determine something. Okay.
Shem got a 1.
Okay.
Then I got a -1. Okay.
All right. So, Shem, before Rick and Butt Up have come back, at some point, this, what was her name? Evina, does finally get her sort of act together, and she clearly wants like a hug. Do you grant her that?
Do you consent?
No.
Well, so she's clearly very upset and not necessarily managing to get her emotions in check then. So as she does finally consent to leave this area and go back into the public corridor, though, she kind of breaks at the last moment and sort of shoves her way past you and runs off down the hallway crying, clearly still upset.
Wait, is that into the
back out into the public corridor.
Oh, okay.
And Shem is coming down from a minor panic attack. Oh my god! See, Rick, it's not just you.
So I think that as you're sort of recovering from this unpleasant contact with genuine, sincere emotion, or is it?
Yes.
Expressions of emotion, let's just say that. This Rick and Butt Up return, and so unless you guys, so what? Now that you are sort of back together, the chili's been dropped off. She's run off to wherever, but not the crew area. So what are you guys doing next?
Bye.
Or if you're discussing it further, that's fine too. I'm just saying you are back together.
Shem is kind of braced up against the wall with her claws digging into the metal, going, ah!
Did you smell the chili?
No.
Chili?
She tried to hug me.
Ah. That's very nice.
And I'll extend the sort of pseudopods around the outside of the robot, giving it its own hug.
It feels good. So I'm very sad for Miss Rumsmar and the Mrs. Rumsmar. The robot seems very mean.
Now, see, the thing is, I don't understand why that woman, creature anyways, why they were having such a strange reaction. I mean, they're afraid for their sister. That's fine, and maybe the person that they're with actually is me. But unless she got some kind of specific threat, I don't know why she'd be reacting that way. That seems really weird.
Well, what seemed weird to me is why did she want to talk directly to us?
Yeah, this seems like it would be something that would be handled in email just as easily as anything else. There's something strange going on here. That's all I got to say.
Email's kind of weird. You can't hug over email. And she needed a hug.
All email conversation from now on. Yes. Unanimously passes.
You know what? I think that this deserves a little bit of investigation here. We've dropped off the chili, and I don't have my shift starting for another hour. So I think I'm going to go and see if I can find out something about this woman.
Okay.
Because
which one?
The one who wanted us to find her sister.
Oh, Evina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very nice name.
All
Do you
right,
like her, Rick?
What?
Do you like her? Patches was telling me something about mating rituals, and I haven't figured it all out yet, so I thought I'd ask.
You
And
know,
she's got very proportioned beings.
she does have nice proportions. I will grant you that.
Huge eye.
Yeah, that was also on my mind. You know what? I think I'm just going to go and see what I can learn. So.
Okay.
Can I help?
You absolutely can. But I think your skills are going to be better doing if you check on the ship systems rather than in person. Because I want to see if we can find some more about her that way. And also, while you're at it, see what you can learn about her sister. Did she give her sister's name?
Blanca. Yeah.
Blanca, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can find the registry for the passengers. See if I can find Steve number weight division number.
2832.
Yeah, that.
It's easy to remember. It's the same number as the registration number of parts for the internal elevator systems. It's easy to remember. Maybe Steve was part of an elevator once.
Possibly. I will go find out.
So.
All right. So.
I am
2, 3, team break.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So,
I am going to go call and talk to people I know around the ship.
okay.
Specifically, anybody I know who's involved with the group that Blanca is traveling with.
Well, so what would you know about that? Like, when you say the group, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's only so many like groups of people traveling with us. Like there's the crew associated with the space
but
station.
There's a lot of people. So the nature of this
the
competition, though, is that people have come from all over to do it. So there are some organizations doing it, but also just like private passengers can.
Right, but somebody has to be coordinating it, right? Who's
So
entering and stuff like that.
So the people organizing the competition, for sure. But I'm just saying that there's not like one group otherwise.
All right, so I'm gonna go talk to them first.
Okay.
And,
Want to go ahead and roll your contacts roll?
1.
Okay. So again, I guess I didn't make the. So okay, what I think you. So you're asking about Blanca specifically?
Blanca and Davina, yeah.
And Davina, okay.
Yeah.
So
I think that the races being as varied as they are, looking for critters with one gigantic eye in the middle of their head is probably going to be able to narrow things down pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, what you are able to verify on your own through, talking with the people, what you end up actually connecting with is one of the people doing registration for people booking hotel rooms, essentially, right? Cabins, and what you find for Ivina is that there is a single person cabin rented to Ivina Buzmer. That she's been staying there for a couple of days, and is at least currently reserved to be there through the end of the competition.
Okay.
And so at least that lines up with what she told you, but you don't find anything on Planka.
Okay.
Nothing under her name at all.
Okay. And Ivina, is she did she register under a particular
The reservation is under that name that she gave you, Ivina.
And it's alone. It's not associated with any other.
Right.
groups.
Yeah. It's a single person cabin, and it is booked independently as a one person reservation.
Okay.
All right. Who else wants to do some investigating?
I'll do some investigating, just with the ship's registration to see just generally how many robot passengers we've got and where they're all distributed.
Okay.
If there's, there may be a robot con in one area, but there are a few of them scattered about. See if there's any paired up with biologicals.
But you are looking for this robot in particular, the name.
Yeah.
She gave. Okay.
Yeah,
so I'm
Steve.
just saying that's how you're looking, but yeah. Okay, so what skill are you thinking for that?
Systems.
Systems.
Not my best skill, but
okay. So just searching the ship databases for where robots are staying, and if anyone is
has
any,
a biological
any robot
companion
with that name. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make that roll. Okay. With
2.
a 2. Yeah. So you actually do find that there is a robot with the operating ID Steve 3252832 that is currently aboard the ship, and like many others here for the competition, it's part of the cook-off reservation block, but not necessarily it's just part of the code. It doesn't mean that it was made as part of a group necessarily, but it's part of that whole package. I'm definitely thinking of convention things. It's you can say if you're there for a competition, you give this code word and you're part of that block, so you're in a certain area to be near the competition. But it was still a private reservation. But it is a reservation for a robots only cabin, meaning there's minimal life support in it.
Okay. Can I tell if there is actually a biological signature in there?
I think that your role didn't give you that information, but you know where that location is, so you could potentially go there.
Okay.
But your systems didn't tell you that.
Okay. Or we could just send Bud up through the vents.
Well. What about you, Bud Up?
Who set up the stasis field? Is that me? Did I do that?
I would imagine that you were certainly involved, at least. It was probably a sort of a joint arrangement with the competition folks. Because they're the ones that would have requested it for this purpose of keeping the chili samples fresh until the judging.
Okay. I I would like to review the tapes and see if a robot has dropped off a particular thing so far.
Okay. So would that probably be a systems roll too, or what do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
Systems. Happy to the systems.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
You're reviewing the security logs of people who are dropping off the chili samples through that chute outside, and you do actually find one slightly fishy sort of operation where the chute is opened, and there is definitely a robot on the other side, and the robot sort of like leans in and like looks around, like clearly trying to see through like to what's on the other side, but does not actually put anything in the chute and then leaves.
I'm gonna clip that part.
Oh?
Just in case I need some evidence for later. No tampering allowed. Now, to think of how I can tamper.
So, you guys do actually have some other ship responsibilities that need to be, taken care of. So you guys were kind of doing that investigation sort of in parallel with other activities. But basically, several hours go by during this time where you guys are taking care of other things and doing that investigation kind of on the back burner, so to speak. But after a while, it's getting into the evening, and in fact, it's late at night now. So, in terms of the ship's day-night cycle, it's now the equivalent of like 2 a.m. So, what are each of you doing at this time?
At 2 a.m., Rick is asleep.
Yeah, reasonable.
He's an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy.
There's a door that keeps shutting on people. I'm probably working on that door just to make sure it doesn't shut on people. But every time I work on the door, it shuts on me. Because I can't see which colors are the buttons anymore.
Like, squish, stop it! Squish, stop it!
And Shem is probably wide awake, doing pilot things.
Sleeps
Oh,
all
no,
day.
Break the door.
No. There's this thing in the other room that absolutely must get your attention right this moment. Shem zoom zips into the other room, hitting, making more noise in 3 seconds than she does all day.
Also more energetic than she is usually inside a week.
Or like outside Rick's door, just going against the door, like, Rick, I'm bored. Rick. Anyway,
Rick comes to the door, opens the door. What? Shem says, "Not bored anymore. Bye."
what are you doing? Yeah. I knew I could count on you, and then walks away. Yeah. So anyway, though, each of you in your respective locations receives a little sort of a security bulletin that there has apparently been some sort of an incident in the cargo area where the chili competition store samples are being held.
Oh, no.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
My chili baby.
So I would imagine all of you hurry over there, and what you discover in there is, to your great dismay, not only has the general area around these samples been ransacked, several crates of various like ingredients and other supplies that are sort of related to the competition but not within the stasis field. Many of them have been like cracked open and spilled and like ransacked. But also 2 of the tables where the chili samples were sitting have been overturned, spilling the chili out all over the floor, and that includes both Rick and Butt Up's chili samples.
It's still good. It's still good. Let's scrape it back into the bucket.
Yeah, among others. It was not targeted just at yours, but it did happen to get on the ones. It did get the table where yours were sitting.
This is murder. I'm not happy.
I'm honestly the only image I can come up with is like Butt Up's slowly expanding to encapsulate or incorporate the rest of the chili and just kind of coming to be a new amalgous.
Yeah, trying to use the slime to push the chili back into the pot, but at the end, Butt Up remains part Butt Up and part chili, and so does the chili in the bucket.
It's tingling. It's still alive. Still good. It tingles.
Yeah.
I activate the shield on the bucket to make sure that nothing else falls out.
So good. We're good.
Yeah. So clearly, there has been some sort of a break-in, and the what happens is the security person responsible for these samples says that someone. I'm trying to remember. Hang on, let me check my notes. What did they see? They said that someone shut the camera off, and by the time they were, able to notify anyone, when the camera turned back on, like it was already disrupted in that way. It was only the space of a few minutes, and frankly, they're pretty angry that. They're essentially blaming you guys as like this was supposed to be a secure area. What happened?
We are going to be looking into this.
Someone will pay.
When someone spills your chili, you're supposed to do something about it.
I can't let this shadow sit here. Sit here. Gotta be careful about that word. I can't just let it lay here. I worked so hard on this. It's amazing.
All right, so are you guys going to investigate the crime scene here, or what?
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's interesting that the chili actually fell over, given the fact that it's in a stasis field. I would have expected it to.
Well, remember though,
not be movable.
It's a light stasis field. It's not like everything's completely frozen. It is like, like I said, it's like a refrigerator. It's designed to keep the chili like warm and ready for like 12 hours. It's not completely frozen. It's basically got to be safe for someone to like reach in or stand in there for a few minutes, or not maybe a few minutes. It wouldn't be a good idea, but briefly.
Okay.
I wanted to see how the camera could be turned off.
Okay.
And see if I can find a record of where that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Points of entry. There's only 2 that I can think of. One is through the chute, and then the other one is through the door.
Yeah. So you guys need to make some rolls for what general skill you're going to use to try to investigate.
Well, I'm just going to look around for anything in the area that might give me a clue.
All right. I'm looking for a difficulty 2. That would probably be a survival check.
Okay. I will.
So.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not
All
going to
right.
spend it.
All right. Well, it's there's been a mess made. You're really kind of. It's hard to say. There's a bunch of stuff turned over and torn open. Table overturned, but you're not really able to glean any real answers.
All right. I assume Shem has told me about the robot peeking through the chute.
Or but yeah, I would imagine though you guys are sharing that information.
Okay. In that case, what I think what I'm going to do is go talk to that robot about that suspicious peek through the chute there, because that does not look like ordinary behavior. That seems suspicious to me. So I'm gonna go see what he has to say about that.
Put on your mean face, just in case he was the one.
So, Butt Up was going to try to figure out how the camera could get shut off.
Yeah, and if there's anywhere I can tell where it happened.
Yeah, so I would say make an engineering roll. I'm again looking for just a 2. Okay, with a 3. Yeah, so what you find is that because this was a camera set up for for this purpose, it's not one of like the regular cameras. It's the camera set up with a feed, out to where the other competition person could get at it. The camera itself was not actually like really obviously hidden or anything. It was just in a secure area, and so it was not wouldn't have necessarily been too difficult to turn off for someone who knew where it was.
Okay.
And there's no logs of anybody logging in or having the permissions necessary.
For the so they turned it off like physically, like someone standing behind it turned it off and then turned it back on.
I'm going to upgrade the camera so they cannot do that.
Okay. So you just basically take the on-off button off of it.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
And add a little thing that's going to go off if someone tries to turn off the camera.
Okay. Yeah. I'll
Actually, a second camera that goes off when the first camera is turned on or turned off. There you go.
It has a backup now.
Right. So
The
sorry, go ahead.
door logs. I'm assuming that we have badges and things that can get us into different parts of the ship, including here. But
so I won't even make you roll just to review the door logs. But what you see is that there's no unauthorized entries, meaning the door was not forced. It only opened in response to the appropriate badges.
okay.
But you realize that the most recent one, other than you guys just using it right now, was your badge about an hour ago. And at that point, that's when you kind of look down and pat yourself and realize you don't have your badge.
Okay, we need to talk to Evina. Because I think I got pickpocketed.
You don't have pockets.
Pick
I think she has pockets.
flight suited just doesn't have that same cachet.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So, so right now, you guys don't really have any kind of an indication other than the destruction of what might have been like the goal of this ransacking. But, certainly you've got some suspects.
Looking at the chilies, are they all still here?
The chilies? Like all the different samples?
Yeah.
How would you, I guess I'm going to need a roll of some kind to say, how aware were you of all of the competition entries that were there, and versus being able to guess if there's any missing. So I think what you have the, the tapes of all of them being dropped off, but it's not easy. So that's maybe another systems roll.
Okay.
I'm going to look at the tapes again. My tapes. I roll the tapes.
Yeah, so you definitely see, what you see, I think, with that is that every single one of the chili samples is accounted for. Some of them were kind of spilled and sort of ruined, but all of like the containers and everything seem to be there. And so there were a couple of tables overturned, but they were all kind of on one corner of this field. And also, as I mentioned, there were a lot of the sort of crates and containers that were like outside the stasis field containing other things related to the competition. Some of those were ransacked as well.
I'm going to look through the ones that were ransacked.
Okay.
The crates.
All right.
And have people been told about the chili being flawed?
I'm gonna need let's see. I think was probably a survival roll against a difficulty of 3 to try to see if there's any sort of a pattern or other information to be gleaned from the containers that are torn open.
I don't have to roll for survival. I just survive. But we tried this without any rolling.
Well, I suppose you could potentially use some other skill if you can explain what that would be. Like,
No, that's fine.
okay. So
He doesn't know how to survive.
Yeah, a -3. Yeah, I think that maybe you're just too distraught over the ruination of your beloved.
Keep looking over
chili.
the shoulder, or us equivalent of shoulder. Sadness. Music plays. It's very bad.
And draw a little chalk outline around where the spill was. All right.
It's still good. It's still good. It can still go in the competition. It has extra chunkies. It's fine.
So, what's next? Guys
Well,
have a couple of suspects.
Yep. Well, Rick is going to talk to the robot.
Okay. All right. So let's we can go ahead and do that first then.
Okay. Shem will tag along as backup and also for assistance because I think Evina. We also need to talk to Evina because somebody pickpocketed or flight suited my badge.
Yeah, I'll say by the way though that as part of your door log thing, you probably would have checked to try to find like what's the current location of your badge. And it wasn't used to open any other doors after entry into this area, and so you actually find it on the floor near the employees only door, entrance to this area. So someone used it and then dropped it.
Okay. Forensic
you have it
evidence.
back
Too
now.
bad Patches. Too bad Patches is not here.
Patches is conducting experiments and asked not to be disturbed. All right, so you're heading down to this area with the robots areas, and so basically, what minimal life support means in this context is that there is definitely air pressure,
Right.
but it's not filtered or as recirculated as in most other areas. Like the air is there, but it's not very fresh. And
Well, it gives me a good excuse to have my glob suit on.
Yeah, so it's probably not the case where you would literally need the suit in order to not die, but having an extra supply of oxygen would be a safety protocol when you go in there. And also the lights are kept very dim, and it's basically just like the robots can reserve these cheap areas that don't have those sorts of considerations because maybe they don't care so much about that stuff.
And you know what? Just because it fits in, let's say also that there's a good deal of condensation in the air, so there's this knee-high mist.
Yeah.
That the shadows like play across, and it puts a halo around all the little lights.
There's a door that keeps going, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. There's some flickering fluorescent lights. So yeah, as you guys are heading down to this area, there are robots around doing their thing. Hang on, I've just got people all up in my business here, getting messages. So yeah, as you're heading in there, I want everyone to make. Hang on, let's see. I'm looking for everyone to make a survival roll to beat a difficulty of 1 here.
3.
All right.
2.
Okay, so were you coming on this trip butt up, or is it just Shem and Rick going to talk to the robot?
I think it's just the two of them. I need some time to mourn my chili.
Fair. Okay, so both of you realize as you're making your way through this area, you realize that someone is following you at a distance. They clearly aren't doing too good a job at it, though. I think at some point there's some bit of, like miscellaneous debris on the floor that they accidentally kick, alerting you to their presence, and you see them sort of duck behind a corner.
Okay, as we walk, I'm gonna kind of lean close to Shem and whisper, "What do you say we play a little game on our follower here? You find some place to hide. I'll keep on going, make noise, and then you come up behind him, and then we'll have him between us."
Sounds like a good idea to me.
So I'm gonna take a route past some place that take a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Speed up a little bit, try and get whoever it is to run to catch up.
Okay.
And then once they've passed Shem, I'm going to turn around.
All right. So I'm going to call this a roll to create advantages.
Sure.
So it seems like survival is still the applicable skill here.
Well, Shem's stealth would also matter.
Yeah. So I guess each of you can do your own part of the roll, and if you both succeed, you each create an advantage.
Okay.
What are we going off of?
So, well, you guys tell me which skill you want to use for this situation. I'm going to say this is a difficulty to kind of try to create these advantages to, get the drop on this person following you.
Okay. I'm going to do stealth.
Okay.
And I guess I'm going to do survival, unless what I'm talking about is actually I'm running to get ahead of him.
Uh-huh.
So I think athletics might be more useful.
Well, yeah. So I think if the plan is that Shem, you're going to try to run ahead and make him have to hurry to follow you while Shem is stealthy going around behind, that makes sense. Where you use athletics and she uses stealth.
Okay. And I got a 3 on my athletics.
Okay, so that's a success.
I got a 2 on stealth,
which was a tie, which would give you a boost instead of the aspect. But Rick has also created an aspect. So what I would say is, the aspect in this case can be that you are, you're pincer maneuvering this guy, and then some boost could just be that he is briefly out of breath from having to hurry to try to catch Rick.
Okay.
But so what I would say though is that you guys do together manage to accomplish this, where you catch this guy between you. This guy is sort of a weird sort of tiny, scrawny, maybe a little bit rat-like, alien. You know what he looks like is like Salacious Crumb from Return of the Jedi. That weird little monkey rat thing that Jabba the Hutt has.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this guy looks like. Only he is wearing a trench coat and a fedora. And so I think as you guys sort of maneuver him into this position where he's caught between you, he's clearly looking alarmed and just says, "What do you guys think you're doing, huh?"
We are in the pursuit of ship's business. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just minding my own business. What do you want?
I'm going to make a provoke check.
Okay.
And now listen here. You've been following us for the past 10 minutes, and I am thinking that you have got something nefarious up your sleeve. So I think it's in your best interest to let us know, because we are the ship's crew, and we are not.
So go ahead and roll
Happy.
roll the provoke and against his resolve, and then we can play act the result essentially.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, so he got 0.
And I got a 3, which I think is a success with style.
Yes, it is. So the success with style in this context would be, I mean, it's essentially an attack, right? So success with style, and you're creating, so you're essentially doing 3 points of stress to this guy, and he is clearly very alarmed, and he knows he is in trouble here. So I guess go ahead and you are successfully provoking him. So play act that.
So what I want to know is, why the hell you following us? Don't tell me you're not, because you are. And I want to know what it is you want.
I'm just doing what I'm told. It's hang on. I'm just
doing what you're told,
so, yeah, you don't want to mess with me, because Glubus Lombo is not someone to be messed with, and I work for him, and so you better just leave me alone, or else you're going to be in trouble with him, and you don't want that.
Do I recognize that name?
I think you do. It is. He is one of the VIPs associated with this competition. Not one of the people running it, but just like if there was some huge big international food festival and Gordon Ramsay was there.
Okay.
Like, he's not Gordon Ramsay, but he's sort of like a celebrity important person who you would expect to be at this place.
Right.
But he is more like a like he owns restaurants and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so he's going to say, like, so fine, and so you just better watch yourself. And he's trying to like back away, like he's going to run.
And I'm going to stand right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to grin and show all of my teeth and have all of my claws up and just kind of tapping my claws against my arm.
Okay. All right. So you're trying to, like, he is. Are you making like another provoke against him here?
No, actually, honestly, with he kind of looks like prey. So if he gets by me, if he wants to get around me, I'm going to pounce him.
Okay, I think especially with the look that he sees in your eyes, he's literally just going to try to run, and so I think what we need is a contested athletics here.
Okay.
Oops. All right, he gets a 0 again. Oh, yeah. Okay.
2.
Yeah. So that's a success then. What are you trying to do? Stress to him, or are you trying to hurt him, or are you literally just trying to like stop him?
I'm literally trying to pounce on him.
Okay.
So it's kind of like just push him, not hurt him, but just.
Well, unless you are specifically trying to not hurt him, you're doing 2 stress damage to him.
No. Okay. Here, let me offer the suggestion. You're trying to create an advantage.
Okay.
Called pounced upon.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Pin,
that works.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that at this point, though, so you have got him like pinned to the ground, and any semblance of like any sort of tough guy attitude has just kind of just disintegrated, and he's just like, yeah, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. I'm just doing my job. Don't hurt me.
I'm going to take his hat and put it on my head right between my ears and say, I think this looks good on me, don't you think?
He's got big wet puppy dog eyes.
Now, why were you following us?
I told you already, I'm just doing my job. Glubus Lombo wanted to know what you guys were doing, and if if you, who you were talking to, yeah, and I was just supposed to tell him what you guys were doing.
Right. Why is that?
Well, I just do what I'm told, man. I don't know everything. He's the smart one. But you guys, I'm serious. I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just saying that, like, you don't want him to be mad at you. I'm trying to, like, help you guys out now. Just leave me, so let me just go, and I won't say nothing. I'll say I didn't find you.
All right. No, you go on ahead and tell him that we are going about ship's business, and that if he has any problem with what we're doing, he should definitely come and talk to us himself.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
I'll tell him.
Let him go, Sham.
Aw. And she takes the fedora off, puts it back on his head, and stands up and lets him go.
Okay, and he sort of stands up and he's kind of brushing himself off, and he's absolutely doing that, like, crying 4-year-old trying to look tough sort of thing. He's like, and he kind of, like, he runs down to the end of the hallway and he just says, I'll tell him, but you guys are going to be sorry you messed with him. And he runs away.
All right. Let's find this robot.
All right.
Okay.
You make your way to the apartment that is rented to this robot's name, and you guys have, your sort of ship's security access that you are able to. So you get to the door. You know that you can get in if you need to, but do you just knock first, or what are you doing?
Yeah, we'll press the alert button to let him know that we're here. We're not.
Yep. There's no answer.
Give it another buzz, and if there's no answer on that one, then we'll go ahead inside.
Yeah, no answer. And then when you do make your way inside, you find it. He's not there. But also there is no indication at all that there is a living being staying in this room. It looks like there's very limited, sort of ordinary, sundry sorts of belongings there. But there's not a bathroom in this room. It's very small. There's really no indication of any kind that there's been a living person staying there.
It's a closet with an electrical outlet.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, and so he does not seem to be there. And so with that, let's cut away back to Butt Up. Where were you headed after the whole chili incident?
Well, was the judges and the people that are running the competition, did they know? Have we told them yet?
Well, yeah, because it was in fact part of the the competition's security officer that was monitoring the camera was essentially who alerted the whole thing. Like, was saying the camera got shut off, and then when it got shut back on, this was happening, and that's what they called you guys. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's been passed along, and so they're in the business of having to regretfully apologize to the to the other people whose chili was ruined, and trying to reassure everybody that no, the competition is still on, and they're pretty much all blaming you guys for the incident, but saying that they're taking care of it. They're going to figure out what happened.
I don't want to leave the competition. Can I convince him that mine was okay?
They're convinced that you're like holding up this container of soup and your chili, and you're basically saying, "Can I still enter?" And I think that they look down at it and say, "If you still want to enter that, you are able to."
I put it back on the table.
All right.
Where it was supposed to be.
Yeah. So yeah, the person who gives you that permission is looks skeptical as to the wisdom of entering it, but is allowing it to happen. So, but I think as you are making your way back out of that area, you are, heading down the corridor when all of a sudden you hear a voice tell you, "All right, just stop right there and be quiet, or else there's going to be trouble." And you turn around and you see a robot matching the description you've heard, but leveling a blaster at you.
You're a robot. Is your name Steve? 3252832.
Yes, that is my name.
Hi,
I
Steve.
suppose you heard about me from Plinky.
Not exactly.
Whatever, it is unimportant. What is important is that you tell me where the sauce is.
Okay. What's up?
The sauce.
that?
Don't play
sauce.
dumb with me.
I never play dumb with anyone.
It's always completely honest.
So, you really don't know about the sauce?
I'm not saying I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. Wait. Damn. Okay. Maybe you could tell me about it, and then we'll both know. What's sauce? Oh, wait. Is that your code name?
Listen,
Her name is Sauce. I get it.
And
I thought you were
reach
working...
it up to the pod and blink
okay.
it.
No, that's not my code name. But listen, I thought you were working with her. If you're not, then perhaps we can do business.
Working with her for what? And we can always do business.
I am looking for a small bottle of special hot sauce. It is very valuable to my client. If you were to locate it for me, I could arrange a transfer of a significant amount of credits to you.
Oh, hot sauce. What's it do?
It's hot.
Oh.
Beings with taste buds like that, apparently. I'm just a
should've
business
done
bot.
You're a business bot?
I
Does a business bot
am
come carry
locating it for sale, not for personal consumption.
Why did you want to shoot me for the bottle? Did you think I had the bottle?
I thought you had the bottle.
But then I would have dropped the bottle. And that would have been bad.
I think it would have been okay. That's really beside the point now, isn't it?
Why did you lose the bottle?
What was the question?
Why did you lose the bottle?
That's a long story, and it is not pertinent at this time, but I suspect that if she did not tell you about the bottle, then it's because she has it. She may have given you an alternate name, but you would recognize her by her big eye.
Big I. I think that's what she spelled her name with, but I can't spell.
If you are able to locate the hot sauce, bring it to me, and I will arrange for you to be paid in 15 credit boxes.
Maybe you could just let Tonka go. That would be okay.
Who is Plonka?
She's the one you're holding, or friends with. I'm not really sure. Are you made capable? I don't know if robots do that.
I may have chosen the wrong crew member to make this offer to. And he actually lowers the blaster and just basically turns to leave.
Wait.
What?
You don't know Plonka?
I don't know who you are referring to. Is that the name that the woman I spoke of gave you?
Well, yes, but not her name. It's her sister's name. But you know that.
Ha ha ha. She lied to you.
You have a sense of humor.
She
Is that
is
hard
a
to
liar. You cannot believe anything she says.
But how do I know I can believe anything you say? If you're a
Bring me
robot,
the
then you
hot
can laugh.
sauce, and you will believe the credits boxes I can offer you.
Oh. Wait, is this a black market hot sauce? Is this on the level or on the floor? I'm not sure what that means.
Sure. Yeah. On the level. Totally.
So, if I found the hot sauce, how would I know it was yours?
It is in a small glass bottle with a wooden cork. It looks very old, and it has the name of a monastery on it.
Ooh. Like what's a monastery?
I love that Butt Up's big thing is how childlike Rick is.
A monastery is a place that has its name on a bottle of hot sauce. That is all you need to know.
Oh, that seems like a silly place. Okay. Well, if I find the monastery bottle, I will let you know. How do I let you know?
My name is Steve 325-2832.
It does seem kind of unique.
Find me.
Okay.
But be careful. The woman is a liar. She will lead you wrong.
But she said you were leading people wrong.
She is a liar. She will lead you wrong. I will
Okay.
make you rich.
Oh, that would be neat. Shem would be so mad.
You better get looking then. I will be in touch. And he goes to leave.
Wait, did you look in the storage with all the chili?
He kind of just looks down and says, "That is where I believed the hot sauce to be located, but I had not been able to access it."
Ah. You didn't hurt the chili, did you?
What do I care about chili? I only want the hot sauce.
You know, Stephen, I think this is the beginning of a great friendship.
That's great.
I think
Call
so
me if you
too.
find the sauce.
Okay then. Such a nice robot.
As he lowers and puts away the blaster he was holding at, leveled at you this whole time. All right, so Shem and Rick. Steve's not home apparently.
All right.
Steve's not here, man.
She's not here, man.
Yeah, and so there's no closet or anything.
Well, I mean, you searched their room, and although it seems apparent that a robot might have been staying there, there doesn't seem to be anything else out of ordinary.
See, now I told you there was something funny about that Avena person. Because there ain't no way an organic critter's been in this here room.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not. This ain't right. All right. I think. Well, the other person I want to talk to is Avena, so we need to go and track her down.
So, are you just going to the place where she was staying?
That'll be the first place you try.
All right.
Yep.
So I think what actually happens is that you go to that hotel and they tell you that she checked out last night. It was unexpected. Her reservation was supposed to be to the end of the competition, but she checked out.
All right.
But I think at this point,
You mind terribly if has her room been cleaned?
they say, "Yeah, sorry, we cleaned it already this morning."
Oh well, that gives up that
She didn't
idea.
leave anything behind. But Shem, you get a little ping through your communicator that has just she texts you basically. You get a little text saying, "It's Avina. Please meet me in the atrium. Please come along."
Rick, how sneaky can you be?
Fairly.
Fairly sneaky?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's not my strongest suit, but I can play.
Okay, because Evina just contacted me and said that she wants to meet alone, and I'm not getting good vibes on this.
Yeah, that's not a particularly good sign to me. Yeah, I'll keep a discreet distance. You know something? So it strikes me that she probably has not seen me in my suit. So I'll just put up the radiation shield here. He puts the helmet on, and this will be disguise enough. And I'll just hang out where I can see you.
Okay.
I'd like to use the robot's comm unit because mine's normally in the bucket.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a monastery?
I can't say I have. It's not my kind of place.
Because if you see one and it's on a bottle
They
of hot
keep
sauce,
yelling at me because I was talking.
what?
Go on ahead. It's not important.
Because if you see a monastery, it could be important. Also, I don't think Blanca's on the station or something, on the ship. Steve didn't know her anyway.
You talked to Steve.
Oh, yeah. They're
What
friends.
do you have to say?
Well, he's not really the talking type. He's more the trying to walk away part. But he said something about the hot sauce. With the
Hot
monastery. With the monastery. Monastery's important.
Uh-huh. So what was he saying about the hot sauce? Come on, give it up there, Bud. You're smarter than this.
Through the magic of DM, Bud Up has told Rick and Shem about what just happened.
It's something just happened.
I think that if you ask me, what's happened is that Blanca's got hold of that hot sauce and she's on her way to talk to Glabo there. Glabo. So I'm gonna okay, Shem.
Uh-huh.
I'll follow you because you're going to talk to her. But I'd like you to set up see what you can learn about this Glubus Longo guy, and see what might be up with him, because he probably the one who wants that hot sauce, or one of the ones, anyways.
I think a lot of people that want the hot sauce. It sounds really tasty. And monastery.
Yeah. So see what you can do with that. Shem and I are going to talk to Blanca. To Avina, rather. I'm getting real confused with all these names.
It's okay, Rick. You'll get used to it over time.
Very straightforward. You got Miss Avina Boosmer, her sister Blanca, who is also some other name given Plinky, and then Steve 3252832, and Glupa Slombo, and all these. It's very straightforward names.
All right, so we're gonna go make that arrangement there. I would like to before Shem goes, I want to. Shem, before we get there, can you pull up a diagram of the ship's structure in that area? Give me a good place to keep an eye on you.
Sure.
I'll go there first, and then you can go and talk to this woman.
Okay, and I'll try to get her in the area where Gerald is, just as an extra security. sorry, Gerald is my favorite. without Patches, Gerald is definitely my favorite. But yeah, so I pull that up on my little tablet thingy.
I'll say that you guys don't need to make a roll for that or anything. You just arrange to find a spot. I mean, you didn't in the message get any indication of like where, like the implication just said like come to the atrium and sort of like she'll find you, that sort of thing. But I'll go ahead and arrange, like Rick has made his way there first, just like anyone might go and visit the atrium and kind of just sort of patrolling around, keeping an eye on things. And then Shem comes too. And so we'll go ahead and slightly montage that Rick, having arrived there first, does spot Evina waiting on a bench in kind of a shadowy area. But then eventually, when she sees Shem approaching, she gets up and wanders, and Rick is kind of following discreetly. But at this point, Shem, Evina has approached you, and she tells you, thank you for coming. Are you sure you came alone?
Yes.
I need protection. And I believe that I am in personal danger, and that I don't know who we can trust. But you were so kind in listening to me the other day that I knew I could count on you.
Okay. So, who has been threatening you?
Well, I told you. The robot. He's dangerous, I tell you.
Well, yes, generally robots can be very dangerous. Have you had any kind of particular threats?
He wants to kill me.
Specific threats that you can produce as proof, because we've got security. We can get those guys involved.
I can't prove anything. I just know that I'm in danger and I need protection.
Okay.
Remember that she checked out of her hotel, which is a pretty secure place because they don't let people in unless they belong there.
Right.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you as a player to remember that we know that.
Yeah. That's so. What I'm kind of thinking of is
she says I had to check out of my hotel room because they found me there and I wasn't safe. That robot has connections to some very important, powerful, dangerous people.
Okay, well, I can escort you to a secure area on the ship, and where you will definitely be safe, and we'll see if we can't get this sorted out. Will that be satisfactory?
Put her in the lab.
No, I'm picking the brig.
Well, I would need to retrieve something first. But if you could keep me safe and help me to conclude my business here on the ship with protection, I would be ever so grateful.
Well, I can give you a safe place to stay. I don't know about helping you conclude your business. But what do you need to go retrieve? Because I can secure you, and then I could go, since they're not watching me, I could go retrieve whatever it is that you need to get. Because your safety is, of course, the most important thing.
Can I trust you with a secret?
Sure.
I'm so sorry that I have to admit that when I came to you all before, I wasn't entirely honest with you.
You don't say.
Shem just blinks wide cat eyes at her.
but my motives were still, what I'm saying now is that I believed to myself to be in danger and I needed help and I just didn't know who I could trust. But I believe I can trust you now. You see, there's a very valuable hot sauce that was made from by an ancient monastery, and it was reputed to be the hottest, most tasty hot sauce in the entire universe, and yet most of it was all destroyed in a terrible war, and it was reputed that only one bottle survived. I managed to track down that bottle, and I thought that I had hit it rich and that I would be able to sell it and achieve all my wildest dreams, but the sort of people who want this hot sauce you don't understand, and I started to believe that they would kill me for it rather than pay me. That's why I need protection.
Okay. So, obviously you have hidden this valuable item somewhere secure. Is that right?
Yes. Secure, I hope.
Okay.
Mike,
I'm sitting here trying to think of okay. So
the robot was supposed to be my contact to the buyer, but I began to think that he just wanted to know where the hot sauce was so that he could kill me and take it and sell it on his own instead of sharing with me. And then I believe that the buyer has gotten frustrated with the delay and has started sending out agents of his own. If you could just help me to retrieve the bottle and then oversee the sale to ensure that I'm safe, that's all I need. I could reward you with a cut of the profits, if that helps make up your mind.
That does in fact help make up my mind. Okay. Let's see what we can do to facilitate things. And I'm going to discreetly pat myself down to make sure that she hasn't made off with my badge again.
She just kind of holds up her hands and says, I'm telling you everything right now. But you have to promise me. You have to promise me that you'll help me.
I would like to make an empathy check to see if she's actually being as forthcoming as she says.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, because that is not a skill Shim has, but she is speaking the language of money.
All right. So she beat you in the base roll, but if you want to try to invoke a fate point or do anything like that.
I'm going to invoke. I want to get on Shem's good side.
Okay.
So
you're invoking that fate point to raise your score to 5?
5. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you do that, you realize that she has perhaps told you more of the truth than before, and what she says she wants, like, she is definitely not telling you the whole story. Of course not. But she, at this point, she's just saying, I can ensure you, just a cut of the sale will be more than you could make in a lifetime working on this ship.
Rick walks up and pulls back the goop covering his face so that he's now visible, and says, it is my considered professional opinion that you are feeding us Elena hooey.
Well, why, please be kind to me. I'm just trying to make my way in this universe. Don't you understand?
So was the name Plinky mean anything to you?
She kind of freezes for a second. I suppose Steve told you that name?
It doesn't matter. What does it mean to you?
It's the name that I gave him when I was trying to organize the sale, of course.
Right. So there was never any sister, was there?
No, I told your compatriot that I was. It was just I didn't know who I could trust. I just needed help trying to try to complete this deal without getting myself killed. These are dangerous people.
You know what? I think we've got enough reason to put our Plinky, Avina, whatever her name is, to put her off the ship next time we have any kind of a passenger ship coming through, because she broke into the warehouse and messed up the chili and something. I think the organizers are going to be interested in that too. So I don't think that we need to have any further business with her. I think it's time to just end this. What do you think, Shem?
I think we need the hot sauce as evidence.
That's true. We do need that.
I think as you're having this conversation, you all get a notification that a VIP on the ship, one Glupa Slambo, wants to speak with all of you.
Why are all of these people up so early in the morning? This is my time on the ship. Don't they sleep? I'm supposed to be waking people up.
And she says, "If you just put me off the ship, that's lose-lose for everybody. Nobody wins in that scenario, but Glupa is the buyer. If you allow me to retrieve the hot sauce and then just oversee the transaction, it's win-win for everybody, and you make money, I make money, he gets the hot sauce he wanted, and nobody gets hurt. Doesn't that sound like the best outcome for everyone?"
Yeah, but the thing is, you stole that from someone, right? I have a feeling they want it back.
Well, it was, if you put it like that, it was stolen from the monastery hundreds of years ago. I don't see how you could reasonably make the claim that it really belongs to anyone beyond that.
Yeah, I like I said, line of hooey. All right. What do you think, Shem?
Well, she's speaking my language, which is credit boxes.
Yeah, I have to say that has a certain ring to it. The problem is, how do the person who belongs to it is definitely going to be looking for it.
Yeah, but the problem is that the only people that we know of who are interested in it are the thieves. We don't know who is actually the original owner.
Yeah, that's an important piece of information.
Are you having this conversation in front of her?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
She says, "I assure you, the original owners are long dead, and it has just been stolen over and over since then. I managed to have it come into my possession, and I'm sorry that I broke into your secured area, but that was only because in my attempt to hide it and keep it safe on my home planet, I hid it, unfortunately, in a shipment of beans. And little did I know before I could retrieve it, that shipment was bound for this competition. And so I needed a way to retrieve it, but I did not break in to steal it from someone else. It had been my property before that."
Shem, you keep track of our little thief here. I need to talk to the organizers and see if anybody reported anything missing.
Okay. And in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and retrieve that bottle?
Yeah, why don't you guys go do that? I'll go and.
I think she's not going to tell you where it is unless she has some degree of confidence that you guys are going to help her out.
Well, we'll keep her safe. How about? We'll keep you safe. There won't be any harm to your person.
No, the hot sauce is my only bargaining chip here. If you're willing to help me, we all benefit.
I'll leave it up to you, Slim. Slim. Where did that come from? Next I'll be calling you Lefty. Yeah, I'm gonna go leave the two of them and call up the competition organizers.
Have you sent any kind of a response to Glupus Lombo?
Nope.
Okay.
Not even acknowledging that I got the message.
All right.
Yep. I think I'm going to leave that for Bud Up to take care of. And I'll say, if it's up to me, we'll go ahead and go through with the sale. So let's go ahead and get that and at least get it secured on your person so that we know where it is.
So, I'm trying. So, it's one thing for Shem to say that we'll go through with the deal, but I think Rick had not seemed to be on board.
Yeah, but if we go through with the deal before Rick gets back.
Oh, okay. So Rick leaves, and Shem is kind of like, okay, now that the buzzkill is gone, let's do this thing. Is that the kind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Okay. Well, as soon as she's does that, she says, "Yes, I knew I could count on you. This is why I said to come alone. But if we can make this happen, then..." And so she, the two of you, then I guess would head off to basically. She's got it in a storage locker.
Okay.
So what have you been up to? What up?
If I were a hot sauce, where would I hide?
By the way, we're slightly in fast forward mode because we're getting close to the the time limit for today. But so we're going to be slightly in montage mode as things happen.
I guess we can imagine that Bud Up has been looking for the hot sauce, but has really no idea where to look.
Okay, well, so I mean, just like checking random.
More or less.
Okay, just.
He's looking for a monastery-shaped model.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll 4DF, and if you get a +4, then you find it.
Let's see. Oh, that's a lot closer.
Almost.
Pretty close. I think that you were wandering around, but you did get that message from Glupa, and so you know about this. And I think just for ease of communication that you guys are pretty much for the most part sharing information, except maybe for Shem not necessarily sharing with Rick about that. Rick,
Not right this second.
So, when you contact the convention organizers, are you discreet about it, or do you just straight up say has anyone reported some hot sauce missing? Are you just completely open about what's going on, or are you kind of more indirect about it? Rick?
I think that's Rick.
Nobilis?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just going to ask them if anybody has reported anything missing.
Okay. They say no.
Ha. Okay. Maybe she was telling the truth about that. All right. Well, I will check in around because we have some suspicious property rolling around. But if nobody reported anything missing, then I guess it wasn't missing. Thank you for your time.
They're like, you're welcome.
And just to be sure, I'll check with the captain as well.
All right. The captain is, so no one has reported anything missing beyond the ordinary sorts of, some completely unrelated person has said that, they, someone took their wallet in the, in.
And somebody else lost their trench coat and fedora.
Yeah. But so, if then, do we want to just say, we're going to make this deal happen? We're escorting Ivina and the recovered bundle. What she gets out of this storage locker is what seems like it's maybe a bottle-shaped thing, but it's all wrapped up like in newspaper and padding and stuff. But she retrieves this bundle. So escorting her to where Glupas Lombo is.
Probably about the same time the butt up shows up there.
Yeah.
If they're going.
Yeah. So I think you guys are all escorted in, and as you are shown in, we've got all the major players of this story now all in one place because Steve 3252832 is there, and that weird little Salacious Crumb guy is there, and there are blasters everywhere. There are definitely people are on edge here, but you meet Glupas Lombo, who is, of course, a big Jabba the Hutt style, slug guy. But he welcomes you all in and says, looks like this sort of an arrangement can be completed at last. I suppose, and he turns to all, like, the rest of you, is like, I don't know what this one told you, or the robot, but I can assure you that I have been searching for that sauce for many years, and there is nothing I want more. So, as long as this business today finishes with that hot sauce in my possession, I believe that we can all leave this room without anyone getting hurt.
Yeah, sounds fair to me.
What you gonna eat it with? I mean, it's hot sauce, right?
And then,
Yeah, it's not
I've got
important.
some chili you could have.
At this point, the robot and Ivina and Glupa are busily talking amongst themselves and talking about negotiated prices. And it is now clear to all of you that these three all know each other very well and have probably been working at cross purposes for a long time. And so everyone wanted this bundle, but they are all like wondering at it as they unwrap it, and it's clearly this this old looking little brown bottle with a sort of fancy faded label on it.
Oh.
And Glupa says, and now I've searched for this for so long, and now we must test. And he takes out this like little sort of like micro pipetter thing that's designed to take just the teeniest little tiny drop. And then he prepares like what's obviously like an extremely fancy cracker that he puts it on. Tiny little drop. And then he goes to like get another drop, and he like pours a much bigger drop on the cracker. No, this is all wrong. This isn't. And he starts scratching away the label, and there's another label underneath that's just it's just some store-bought brand of hot sauce. It's like, no, that's impossible. You tried to trick me. And then Yvina's just like, no, that was the one that we stole from the general. I told you this was, and then the robot is like, it was your fault. You tried to buy it from him. He must have switched it. And they're all just fighting with each other now.
But how's it taste?
Yeah, Shem, I think our job here is done. All we have to do is wait outside for shooting to stop.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't even notice you leave. You're just like heading out. It's like, nope. Right, we're out.
Actually, Shem is going to grab the bottle on her way out the door.
Yeah, and it's a very ordinary hot sauce.
Can I try some?
I want to try.
Sure. I'll pour a little dollop onto a pseudopod.
Ooh, it's kind of tingly. Oh, I don't feel so good.
You can see sort of brownish spots.
Oh no!
I think it has salt in it.
And the robot kind of stops moving.
Shim looks at the label. First ingredient, salt.
There's a little
Yes,
psychedelic bursts going off inside of a pseudopod at this point.
It's great. It's wonderful. It's the stuff. It's the stuff that dreams are made of.
Get in your
Mark got the reference. I mean, not that I was super subtle about it, but if anyone who didn't pick it up, this story is 100% the Maltese Falcon. So, yeah. So I think with that, we're going to, crossfade to a darkened corridor as orchestral music swings up, and that's it for today's adventure. Hooray! Yay! I that top notch with the final line reference there.
I'm trying to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
For a while.
Oh, that's fantastic. So yay, that was fun.
That was fun.
Playing, everybody, and if any of you out there listening or watching, thank you, and we'll play more of this and other games and sometime soon. So have fun out there, everybody.
Bye.
Yep. Have a good night or a good day.
Yeah.